Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this pressed floral wedding cake. It's a pressed floral cascade with a hand-painted plaque and some edible gold leaf. And this is the first time I've ever done a placement like this, and I thought it was really unique and something that you guys should see. And I'm going to show you how to do the plaque freehand. Basically freehand. So what I'm doing is, this is the invitation. This was our inspiration for the entire cake. Now it's an oval plaque, and they wanted a script letter R. That's all they wanted in it. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna use gum paste. And I made this ahead of time so that it would have time to firm up. You don't have to do that, but it was one step that I could get out of the way towards the beginning of the week, and then I could concentrate on the rest of the cake. So I have this pill-shaped oval cutter that I just cut out of the gum paste and set it to the side. And now this is how I do this. I find a letter on my phone, and I just use tracing paper. Now you have to be careful. If there's a way for you to lock your screen, that would make life a lot easier. I don't know, I just haven't even tried. So I'm just trying not to touch the screen as much as I can. And this is a graphite pencil. So graphite is not toxic. Lead is, graphite is not. So I just traced out the letter, and then I'm coloring it in. Do you remember doing this in school when you use tracing paper to make images? It's still the same way. And you can enlarge that picture if you need a bigger letter R. You can even do it on your laptop if that's a little easier. So I'm coloring it in right side up. And then I turned it over and I colored it in backwards, because then you're going to put it on your gum paste and it will be right, facing the correct side. So make sure that you color in that back side. And the gum paste has had probably about half an hour to firm up, and that makes this a lot easier. And then again, go over the same letter, and what that does is that transfers your image on your letter onto your gum paste. So there you have your outline. You do not have to have a steady hand. I do not have a steady hand, and the older I get, the more my hands are not steady. So if you use this technique, it's like you're just filling in the lines. And to finish off the plaque, I just rolled out a long snake of gum paste. Nice and thin, is about as thin as I can kind of get it this way without using an extruder. And I like to use a flat surface like a fondant smoother to help you roll it out and prevent those dents that you get in it with your fingers. If you're only using your fingers, it doesn't have to be a fondant roller. You could use a cake board. That would work fine too. And then I'm just attaching it with some water, cutting off the excess. I know there's gonna be a spot where the two pieces meet, and that's okay. Nobody's gonna notice that. And I just put the cutter right back on it and just made sure that the rolled piece of gum paste is all the way to the edge. And then I'm just gonna color it in, with some gold luster dust and some Everclear. That's just my preferred painting method. And a very fine tipped brush. Now, I like to do the outline, get like a first draft of it on there, and then I go back in and fill in when needed. I feel a little bit more comfortable going back in and making the thicker parts thicker after I have the basic outline drawn on there. I feel a little bit more in control. And I did do 2 coats of this. And then I went ahead and colored the outside edge, our little roll there of gum paste, just to finish it off. And I put a little bit of shortening on that container, and I just put it on there to dry. Then the shortening will get it to stick to the container so it doesn't roll off. But then you're gonna have to rest that on its side in between 2 objects that are gonna hold it up, because it's top heavy, it will roll if you don't prop it. And that can be left for days until you're ready to use it. Now I'm just gonna speed through all of the leveling and my simple syruping and my filling. I typically cut a lot of this out, but I thought, well, since there's not a whole lot of decorating time, since the method I'm gonna show you is fairly easy and quick, you might wanna see all the steps here. So, especially if you're new to my channel, I use a thickened dam, which is adding some powdered sugar to your buttercream to keep the filling locked in so it doesn't bulge. And then I fill in just with my not thickened buttercream, or whatever kind of a filling you're using. It doesn't have to be buttercream. You can use ganache, you can use a fruit filling. When I do a fruit filling, I usually put a thin layer of buttercream underneath it so that it doesn't soak into the cake as much. And then you have the two flavors together. I think you kind of need both, just in my opinion. I'm trying to think. I don't think that this cake had anything besides buttercream for fillings. What were the flavors? We had a chocolate that was almond vanilla, and then, okay, I think that one is the red velvet, so there is a cream cheese filling in that one. And now we're just gonna go ahead and do our first layer of buttercream, which is our crumb coat. And that's just a thin layer of buttercream that's gonna lock in those crumbs so that your final layer of buttercream is clean without any crumbs in it. And I do chill after each step. So after I did the fillings, I chilled them, and then I go back and I do my crumb coat, and then I chill them again, about 20 minutes in the fridge or 10 minutes in the freezer. And that just helps me kind of control what's going on with the tiers. If they're firm, I feel, and I just know for me, you have a little bit more control over your finished product. And since the details on this cake were just the cascade in the front, you might notice more if you have some spots that aren't so, I'm going to say the word perfect. Nothing's perfect, but as perfect as you can get it. So take the time in a more simple design like this to get it as clean as you can, as level, and your corners as sharp as you can. And chilling definitely helps with that. And doing multiple layers, thinner layers. If you lose control or you feel like you're spending too much time trying to smooth it out, and you need to step back, put it in the freezer or the fridge, let it firm up a little bit, and then come back to it. Now, I'm not showing you the doweling for every single tier because, we would have way too much footage. So basically, I just cut all of my supports to the same height. On the lower tiers, I use the harder plastic dowels on the outside, and then the boba tea straws on the inside. And then I'm just sharpening a dowel, and I'm gonna shove it straight through the entire cake. And that's what's gonna give you your support, especially if you deliver your cakes assembled. And then submerge that top underneath the surface of the cake and fill in that hole, and nobody will know it's there. Then I use some double-sided tape to attach a ribbon around the bottom. At the bakery I work at, we typically just leave the boards, the drums white, and then do that ivory-ish, blushish ribbon around the bottom. And that's fine. And I just attached this with a little buttercream is all I did that. That is my trick too. I'm gonna try to come back to what I was saying. Use your steamer. The plaque is heavy enough that it does need a little buttercream, so I might have lied in the thumbnail accidentally. I'm just realizing that now. Buttercream behind the plaque, but everything else is sticking just because it's steamed. The moisture from the steamer makes all your flour stay, and for me, I think it's the best way to get your gold leaf to stick also. I work with a crusting buttercream, so as it cools and firms up, it gets a crust on it, so it's not gonna be, things aren't gonna wanna stick to it. So either take it out of the fridge and let it naturally get a little bit of condensation, that works too, or if you're trying to speed it up a little bit, just do a light steam with your clothing steamer over the whole thing. And I just wanted to show you the way that these flowers came to us. We ordered them online, and they're just in these packs of the pressed flowers. There are so many different colors out there. And what was I saying? Oh, when I had my own business and I was doing wedding cakes just for myself and my customers, I would always cover the board with a little fondant. I kind of think, for me personally, it's a finishing edge. So if you ever wonder why I don't do that, I would prefer, honestly, I would prefer to do that, but it's not my call. You know, when you have a bakery or you work in a bakery, sometimes it's about speeding up the process, being more economical, and sometimes things need to go. And in our case, that's one of the things that we just kind of don't always do. So back to this, then I put my gold leaf on there. We didn't want a lot, just kind of some touches of it. You might not even see it if you weren't told that it's there. But we did want to do something to add a little extra, to add the gold, to tie that in, the gold from the plaque, to tie that in. And edible gold leaf is a really good way to do that. And I like to use the Barnabas Gold. And here is our final product. And as always, I hope you learned something. I hope you got something from it you can use. And if you try something similar, please share it to my Instagram. I like to see what you guys come up with. And we'll catch you on the next one.